Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Blue Blur podcast. Everyone,
Wow!
I'm here at Blue Blur Studios, voice actor of Sonic and many others in Sonic Respin, along with my friend who is also the voice of Tails in Sonic Respin. And part one of that is coming out June 23rd, 2025, along with a Knuckles prologue. Knuckles prologue on March 28th this year. So, what are you doing? Check those videos out right now. Watch the trailers. Watch everything. Watch them. Anyway, let's get back to the topic at hand.
After we strangled the iPad.
Yeah, that we're recording this on. And we have two favorite Sonic games that are both very similar in both regards. Sonic Frontiers and Shadow Generations.
The big ones.
Yeah. The two
Major games.
that have come out in like the past 5 years or so.
Yes.
And also, we're not intentionally trying to finish each other's sentences. I hope you guys know that.
Instead of just helping you.
And they're both similar in each way. Like, both are open zone, both have some sort of version of combat, both have stages in them. Both are written by the same writer, etc., etc.
They are?
Yeah. But we're gonna look at all those points.
Shout out to that guy.
Yeah.
He's amazing.
Ian Flynn, best Sonic writer to date, if you ask me.
We love you.
And let's start with our first category in this comparison, and in total we'll just end off which one do we think is the better game.
Yeah, should we rate it on a 1 to 10 basis?
We'll just do it on like a point system if we can remember it.
Alright.
So let's start with the first one. Open zone. Okay, I'm gonna give this one to Frontiers because Shadow Generations only has one open zone, which is also a hub world at the same time.
I agree. Yeah. Sonic Frontiers not only has an open world for an entire world, but multiple different worlds.
Yeah, exactly.
But Shadow Generations only has a set area.
Yeah.
Sure, it's open world, but it's only a void.
Yeah, or open zone as they call it, I should say. That's what they call it, which I don't understand what that is.
It's a white void, which...
Yeah. Makes sense considering the story of both Sonic and Shadow Generations.
Yeah, given the story, it makes sense, but Sonic Frontiers takes the cake on this one.
And also because that open zone is much larger, like, it's just where... I look at Shadow Generations this though, they did actually put actual loops in that open zone, which is something Frontiers didn't have. They just had grind rail loops. So I'll give them that. I will give them that. So I think that's 1 point for Shadow Generations, or 1 point for Sonic Generations.
Sonic Frontiers.
Dang it! Thank you. Sonic Frontiers.
Sonic Generations.
But now let's move on to the next one. Stages. Shadow Generations easily takes this.
Easily. If you're wondering it, we are playing a Shadow Generations stage right now as we speak, which also is why
we're doing this in the first place.
It's also why he might sound like a little far away because he's facing the TV.
Mm-hmm. Whoops, I forgot the mouse controller. But anyway.
Stages. Shadow Generations easily has the best stages.
Yeah. Of honestly any Sonic game, honestly. Whereas the ones in Frontiers, they're just kind of forgettable. Like, they always follow the same repeating system. Green Hill, then Chemical Plant, then the city, then Sky Sanctuary. It's the same loop. It gets boring.
Can we also talk about the DLC for Shadow Generations?
Yeah, that's the next part.
That level.
The next part. DLC. Again, gonna have to give this to Frontiers. They gave us a whole different ending as DLC.
But for Shadow Generations,
it's good. It is good.
They gave us another level, but it's not as big as of a DLC as Sonic Frontiers, but still very good and very enjoyable.
Plus, they actually got Keanu Reeves, who voiced the movie Shadow for that one level, which was honestly probably one of the best parts of Sonic 3's promotion, marketing, honestly. That's just me, though. There was also some really good stuff that they did for the marketing.
Once again, very enjoyable, but not as big of a DLC as Sonic Frontiers.
Frontiers DLC...
Are we going to give this points to Sonic Frontiers?
Yeah, Sonic Frontiers DLC gave us a new final boss, 3 new playable characters, and 2 new Sonic forms.
So
I think it's pretty simple.
Very good.
Like, my only complaint with it is that they didn't really give us a new island. They just added new stuff for the new playable characters.
But that's still very good.
Because the new playable characters, they were honestly horrible to play as originally until they updated them.
But was the DLC more expensive than Shadow Generation?
No, the DLC in Frontiers is actually free, so...
Oh.
You're basically getting a whole new campaign for free.
That's very good.
Yeah. But now moving on to the next one, combat, which I'm going to use the Doom powers for Shadow's example here, because it doesn't necessarily have combat in it. I'm not trying to give all these to Frontiers, but I have to go with Frontiers again. Like, the moves were just cinematic and just really cool.
You say that as we were doing a very cinematic cutscene.
Yeah, well that would be counted for stages, so... Another reason why the stages are better in Shadow Generation, so... But like, yeah, the combat is really good in both games, but just Sonic Frontiers, man, oh my god, were those cinematic.
Sonic Frontiers has more melee combat, and you can get to enjoy how Sonic actually deals with badniks and...
Well, not even badniks, they're just like ancient technology.
Exactly, yeah. But for Shadow Generations, it's more of just like throwing orbs or teleporting into them.
Or just getting growing wings, essentially.
And not really that much actual combat.
Yeah. Like, but that can also take us into our next part, bosses, which I'm gonna have to give this one a tie, honestly. Both boss battles in each game are awesome.
I personally think that the Sonic Frontier boss battles are better than Shadow Generations, but that's just me personally.
Yeah.
They're both very good.
They're both very cinematic.
But Sonic Frontiers, like the Purple Moon, for example.
Like the end, yeah.
Yeah.
That was so cool. And then we have Shadow Generations on the other hand with my good sir, of course.
Yes, me.
And we also had stuff like the Bio Lizard, which was insane as a first boss.
And
Metal Overlord,
yeah. Metal Overlord. And then also Doom.
Whoops.
Then you also have Doom as well.
Which I think was the most cinematic of the 4 in there, arguably.
Also the hardest.
I would say so, yeah, honestly. I think the only way they'd be able to top Frontiers is number 1, we had a Super Shadow boss, and number 2...
That would be cool.
And number 2, if we just had more in general.
Yeah, because we only have like 4 or 5
Yeah, we have 4 bosses. Yeah. Like, Infinite was right there, man!
And how many bosses did Sonic Frontiers have?
If we're counting the DLC, then like 6, I think.
So definitely a lot more.
Yeah. That's why I give it a tie, because both are cinematic, and both just like have, like the one in Frontiers, like the third boss, had Sonic taking control of a giant sword and slashing the opponent in half. You can't tell me that's not cinematic, right? Like, oh my god.
And now going on to, I think we've talked enough about bosses. What about the next category?
How about story?
Story. I'm gonna have to give this one to Shadow Generations.
I would give this to Frontiers just because Frontiers is longer, probably mostly.
But Shadow Generations ties more into the actual Shadow lore.
It has like a lot of emotion with like Maria and stuff like that.
Yeah, like which one got you most emotional?
Oh, that's hard because you have the ending of Shadow Generations, plus you also have that scene where Tails says he wants to go alone for a while in Frontiers. So that's difficult. But I'm gonna have to say Shadow Generations when it comes to emotions.
The one that makes you more emotional is probably going to be the better storyline.
Yeah. But
I'm more connected, more invested.
But still, Frontiers I think had more emotional moments in it in total.
But I'm gonna say Shadow Generations made more sense. Like
I'll say this: it's less confusing. It's less confusing.
Yeah.
It's just straight to the point, pretty much.
Shadow got trapped in a void, and then
he re-messed with Maria and past enemies, Black Doom, all that crap. So.
And also the Bio Lizard too.
Yeah.
Basically his older brother.
Yeah. But yeah, I think Shadow Generations had a story that was more straight to the point, but Frontiers had a better, like, one that gave you more questions. Like, how does this make sense? How does that make sense? Like,
I personally prefer storylines that don't make me want to question it. Like, I like knowing how it makes sense. I like understanding the lore.
It also kind of builds up like the Echidna lore and just like what Chaos's culture was kind of like too.
Yeah.
So, and also
have to remember this is Shadow Generations lore is happening at the same time as Sonic Generations.
Yeah, that's true.
It's all happening at the same time.
Yeah. Like, that's what makes it also really cool. Now let's move on to a mini category that also kind of goes in with story characters.
Ooh, characters. Sonic Frontiers has many more characters than Shadow Generations.
I will have to give this one to Shadow Generations, honestly. Shadow going through his arc about kind of moving on after Maria was good. And now that's not to say the characters in Frontiers were bad, because Sage was an awesome new addition to the series.
Also, more characters. They had Sonic Frontiers had many more characters.
Actually, I take it back. I'm giving this one a tie also, because both games had really good characters in them. But like, oh my goodness, like, once again, all the characters were great. Sage in Frontiers again was a great introduction. The end was honestly kind of a horrible villain though.
But we also have to
remember.
We have to remember each storyline had its characters specifically keen into that story. So these characters are completely different.
Yeah. My only complaint is that I feel like Sonic wasn't as cocky as he usually is in Frontiers. In fact, you gotta
love a character that thinks themselves too much.
And also that kind of brings into the next one, which also builds off of characters' voice acting. Ooh. I'm gonna give this to Shadow Generations, because I don't know.
Not only did they get Keanu Reeves out here to do the
movie Shadow stuff.
But also all of the voice acting was on point.
Yeah. And whereas in Frontiers, I didn't know how to feel about Sonic's deep voice that he had. Like, when I'm thinking of Sonic, I think
he's supposed to be like.
It takes some getting used to, but here's to you reaching new heights, partner.
He's supposed to be like a child.
Yeah, he's supposed to be like 15.
Exactly, not 30.
He does not sound like that.
He sounds like he's going through a midlife crisis.
Same thing with Eggman. He doesn't give off like the same over-the-top voice, it feels like.
Yeah, they feel like they're going through their midlife crisis.
Yeah. Like, and that's not to say I meant to take a shortcut there, but okay. I'm playing Shadow Generation still, couldn't tell.
Yes.
But like, Sage's actor was really good though. I thought Sage did a good job, honestly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna have to give this to Shadow Generations when it comes to voice acting. Better price. Shadow Generations again. You're getting $50 for 2 games, pretty much.
Yeah, 2 games.
Yeah.
2 games for $50. And how much was Sonic Frontiers?
$60
for 1 game.
Which, keep in mind though, Shadow Generations and Sonic Generations are both kind of short, so like you have to keep that in mind. But even then though, like, alternate costumes is also kind of ties back to DLC. I'm gonna have to give it to Shadow Generations again. Terios, chef's kiss.
I haven't actually seen Terios with the skin yet.
Well, he looks pretty good. Just his quills kind of look like Amy's a bit, which is kind of why people have been complaining. Why do I keep dying in these stages? Now Sonic Frontiers did have some good ults. I mean, the only good one that I'd really use a lot.
What about Birthday Star Skin?
That one was alright, but I also like the soap shoes, the grind shoes, whatever you want to call them. Those were good too. But yeah, I'm gonna have to give this to Shadow Generations, which is funny because considering that only has 1 alt, unless you count Movie Shadow, then you only have 1 alt then unless you count Movie Shadow.
Then what about graphics and poppin'?
Easy for Shadow Generations. been running around the open zone. There's barely any pop-in you can notice. Where Sonic Frontiers, it's very noticeable.
We should probably put in a clip of Shadow Generations to show you the pop-in.
Like, I'm not even seeing any currently.
Non-existent pop-in.
Yeah.
But what about graphics?
That's kind of the same thing, pretty much. That graphics and pop-in are basically the same.
Graphic quality.
I'm gonna have to do this to Shadow Generations again, because have you seen what Sonic Frontiers looks like on the Switch?
No, I haven't.
It looks horrible. Like,
the Switch is like rocking like 6-year-old hard drive.
Although then again, I don't really know what Shadow Generations looks like on the Switch, but then again, Sonic Frontiers almost looks like a classic Sonic game on the Switch.
The Switch is rocking like old hard drive.
Yeah. Like, to that I'm like
the Switch is a good console, but it does not have the best.
Yeah.
Like,
I cannot believe I actually played through Frontiers on the Switch before. Like, when I got it on PS5, I was like, oh my god, this is so much better.
Yeah, but I don't think you can really take away Sonic Frontiers' good graphics quality by putting it on the Switch when you haven't even played this game on the Switch either.
That's fair. I'll look up a screenshot of what Shadow Gens looks like on the Switch, because it's gonna look worse, but I don't think it'll look as worse, because again, I don't know. I really don't know.
I thought Sonic Frontiers had really good graphics quality.
But when it comes to like the Switch, I think I'm mainly just giving this to Shadow Gens just because, like, when you look at Sonic Frontiers' other ports, it doesn't look that great. PS5 and PC are exceptions though. They look good.
What other things can we talk about?
I mean, we can also do game as a whole, but I'm gonna do one more. Replayability.
Ooh.
Gonna give us the Shadow Generations. The stages are just really fun, honestly, and plus there's so many collectibles you can find in there.
I'm gonna say Sonic Frontiers because it's you have multiple different worlds that you can try to 100%.
Yeah. Not to mention you can max out every character's abilities too.
And also, it doesn't really get old. It's still fun.
How have we
fifth time we play it?
How have we not mentioned the music yet in both of these?
Oh yeah.
This is gonna be a tie again. I'm sorry, but Shadow Generations has tons of remixes from past Shadow and Sonic games, and they sound really good. My personal favorite is the All Hail Shadow remix.
But the thing is, Blue Blur Studios here, he never gets to enjoy the music because he always puts it to like the volume down to like 4. Okay, I literally have to put my ear to the TV or the speaker just to be able to hear it.
To be fair,
I don't know how he can be talking.
To be fair, I live in an apartment complex and I don't want to disturb the neighbors, so.
I mean, yeah, but still, I think you can put the volume up a little bit more.
So.
Anyways, we're not here to talk about volume.
But as for Frontiers' music, it has a bunch of original music and especially the Titan music.
What about cutscenes?
I'm gonna give us a Shadow Gens also. Frontiers just had basic animations where the characters are just standing there, not doing anything.
And also, Shadow Generations does have a room where you can go back and replay the cutscenes.
Yeah. And plus the one, like they made an awesome animation just for Shadow coming out of the Sonic movie portal. Like you didn't.
Or going into it too.
I'm like, you didn't have to put that much budget in a literal portal, dude.
Yeah, they wasted like half their budget on just that one level.
But one complaint I have in both games though is that whenever you're using an alternate costume like Terios with the soap shoes, they never work in most cutscenes. Like when I turn into Super Sonic with like the soap shoes on, he's not wearing the soap shoes.
Yeah, they could fix that.
Or when Shadow's talking to Maria in this game, he's not Terios.
They should fix that.
Yeah. But now finally, let's go over best game as a whole. As a whole, drumroll please. It's Sonic Frontiers. I think Frontiers has a better story. It's really fun. Like it's not like I know I said Shadow Generations is more replayable, but that's not to say Frontiers already isn't replayable.
We're not saying that Shadow Generations is a bad game.
Yeah.
We're just saying that they're both really good games,
Yeah.
and it's hard to actually definitively say which one's better.
Because like we said, these are some of the best Sonic games of all time.
Yeah, within the past 5 years,
Yeah.
are the
Like,
by far the best games in the past 5 years.
Frontiers has great music, great replayability, good story, good DLC. It's great combat, etc., etc. Like, Sonic Team. When you make the Frontiers sequel, what?
Team Sonic.
No, it's what the company that makes the games is called,
Oh.
Sonic Team. For the Frontiers sequel, take what works about the original Frontiers and Shadow Generations and put that into one good package. And I'm talking the good stages from Shadow Generations, like better playable characters, like refined versions of the characters that were already in Frontiers. More playable characters, like we could get like a playable Metal Sonic, playable Silver, Blaze, Tangle, Whisper.
Yeah, this just makes me think, what are they gonna do next? I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure they're gonna keep making games like this
Yeah.
because just how good they've done in the box office.
To this day, Sonic Frontiers and Shadow Generations are some of the best-selling Sonic games of all time.
So that just makes you think, what games are they gonna do next? How are they gonna cook next?
I think what they're gonna do is they're gonna take, once again, like I said, what worked about these two games we've been talking about, and then just make them into one great package.
Maybe even have a Sonic 4 level.
Like a Sonic Movie 4 level.
Or like do like something to do for Sonic 4.
That would actually be
Like-
cool. That would actually be cool because that way we could get like a level where Ben Schwartz is voicing Sonic through it. Just be like, oh crud, what's a good?
We
what's
probably
the
shouldn't
Sonic line?
spoil the end cutscene, the end credits here.
Well, I mean,
Post credit scene.
Sonic 3's been out for like 3 months now. I think we're good now.
There's still people that haven't seen it.
But anyway, spoiler warning in 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
By now, you've had enough time to click off.
Yeah. So they could just make a whole movie level surrounding movie Amy or movie Metal Sonic,
Yeah.
and get whoever's voicing them in that movie to come back with them. Personally, though, I would like the Sonic game actor to come back as Metal. Just be like a cool, like full circle moment.
Yeah,
That's even saying if Metal even speaks. So he could just be the strong silent type, you know.
But in a whole, we say that Sonic Frontiers is
The better game.
better and more fun,
Yeah.
but they're both really good.
Yeah. So if I were to rank both of these, I think they both get 10 out of 10s each. But just I think Sonic Frontiers gets that 10.1 out of 10. So yeah, thank you all for watching this video. My name's from Noobler Studios. This is my friend who's the voice of Tails in Sonic Respin, who's gonna rename being. Just goodbye. My English is awful.
Bye.